Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Mystical Maker, and in today's video, you've probably already seen from the thumbnail, I'm making a guitar. This is full size, so yeah. And I think this personally looks really good. We have the string holder and the two different pickups. I know there should be three, but I kind of messed up on the dimensions. And then we have a neck, and the neck is also smooth and rounded on the back. As well as there's a little inset here for the head, and it comes backward. And this is just done with some layering. The neck is silver because I couldn't find any wood to use for it, or like a thin. I was planning, if you want to make this like a bit more realistic, you could have a strip of balsa on top of the front and just cut off the top layer, but I didn't do that because I didn't have any balsa laying around, or you can just get a really thin piece of wood. Anyway, yeah, I think this turned out really good, and it is full size. The whole thing, because it's made out of foam board from like the dollar store, only weighs like about a pound, so it's really lightweight. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so to start off this project, I'm going to be using an old guitar body that I have laying around, just that I kind of sketched out earlier, and I'm tracing it onto some foam board. I'm creating a little inner design for all of the, like fake electronics, and tracing it out. I'm using the main body the most, because that's what I'm going to be making the most of the actual templates out of. And then I'm just coming like a bunch of this template out onto these foam board sheets, and yeah. I'm continuing to do the process. You can find foam board at the dollar store. So the whole project was maybe $10, and now I'm gluing it with with some just normal Elmer's glue, and spreading it around with a foam brush. I'm using a fine point Sharpie to separate to trace out all of the lines, because you can see it a lot better if you get black foam board. Now I'm taking my like a long box knife blade, and I am cutting out all of the edges and making it all beveled and nice. I'm using an actual reference picture of a picture of a guitar, so I know where the bevels should be and how angled they should be, which is really helpful to have a reference picture, because bevels are really important on this. I'm tracing out an old neck I have, or like a trace that I have of it, and I'm also cutting that out of foam board. I'm making templates for myself by using poster board that you can also find at the dollar store, but it's a bit thicker and easier to trace. Now I'm just tracing out the neck pieces, and stacking them all together. Now I'm cutting them all out. And once I have all of the neck pieces cut out, I can finally start to glue all of them together. Here I'm just gluing them together and spreading it around with another foam brush. You can also get foam brushes from the dollar store, but I recommend it from Walmart because they're a little higher quality. I cut at a bevel one of the pieces and put one side on the back and one side on the front, so you get a cool thing. and I'm now rounding out the back of the neck and leaving a little bit of space to attach it to the thing, or to the body. Okay guys, so I'm just finishing up with the first few coats of paint. I just did, some bronze and some blue, just to kind of test out some different color designs. And as you can see, there's a lot of imperfections, like some of the board is lifting, as well as a lot of wrinkles. And also, the spray paint is kind of dissolving the foam, which is not ideal for something to look so good. So I'm gonna have try and spend some time to kind of figure out how to smooth all of this down. The neck is, for the most part, pretty good, but there are still some imperfections. So yeah. Okay guys, so I just got back from outside and spackling, and as you can see, I spackled pretty much everything, and this is basically, it's pink spackle, and then it's gonna dry white so I know when to sand it, and then I'm gonna repeat the process and also do the same on the back. And yeah, that's basically it. And then same with the backside on this piece here. And then add all the pickups and like the string holders and whatnot. And then I'm basically done. So yeah, let's get to it. Here I'm just spackling up the entire back of the body with this new color changing stuff that I got at Home Depot. And it's really great. You can find it at most hardware stores, but it's just color changing spackle, and it's really helpful to know when you can sand it and stuff. After doing the whole of the body, I also did a coat on the front face of the neck, or the fretboard, as well as more on the back and the sides, and basically just covering the whole thing so the neck can be really smooth. I'm using a scraper to smooth out some areas, and I also removed all the paper. Oh, here's the neck. There's some little splotches, but for the most part, the actual neck is very smooth in terms of the curve. And then here's the base where it connects to the body. And of course the fretboard, head. And then here is the body itself. And basically what I did to finish both these pieces was I just did this same process that I already showed you of applying spackle and sanding it down and then applying a layer of paint on. And I did that over and over again, and basically I just added a gloss clear coat. So now the body itself is actually done, and I need the pickups and the string holder, as well as just to connect the actual neck to the body. So let's get into it. So here I'm just building like some supports for where the neck is going to slot in. As you can see here, I'm just using some popsicle sticks and adding those to the neck to have a little bit of spacing, and sliding that in and gluing the rest of the neck to the body to make sure everything is perfectly secure. I'm adding the string holders now, so I have kind of a wood, like a base in the back of popsicle sticks, and then I covered it in foam board. Here I'm testing some ideas, but I eventually found that just using little skewers or toothpicks and cutting up popsicle sticks was the easiest way, and that's how I made the string holders for the guitar. If you look at a reference picture, they're not that complicated, but it does take a little bit of time to make them. I painted that silver after masking off the main body, and then here I'm making the pit guard. So I'm just trying to trace out some shapes, but I'm using the original shape for the template with the pickups already out of there, or cut out, and I'm making the pickguard base out of that, and making a fuller one with cleaner edges that I can actually use for the guitar. Covering it in some glue and white paint, flattening it out, and gluing it onto the actual body. Here I figured out to create the pickups. I just traced out the things that I used on the guitar, and I also covered a little area here with a silver marker, and just used a hole punch to cut out 12 different holes, or 6 little hole punches for each pickup. And then once those were all cut out, including the actual pickup base, which is just a poster board again, I'm gluing all of them together after marking out with a Sharpie. Here you can start to see some of the final products of what the pickups look like. I'm using poster board because each level, or each part of the pickup, has a slightly different level. And this will just make it look a little more realistic without having to make it full. Okay guys, so that is basically the whole project. I really like the guitar. If you're wondering what paint I used, I just used a basic Seaside spray paint that I found at Rust-Oleum, and I think that gives it a really nice color and kind of classic aesthetic. If you don't want this color, or you can easily just use any other color, I would just suggest adding a gloss clear coat on top with some more spray paint, because that just makes it look a lot better. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this project, please consider subscribing and liking the video so more people can see it. And yeah.